I'm actually from the Northwest. I'm from Portland, Washington State, Oregon area, and we came here by way of New York. We actually, me and my husband lived in New York first. I went to the Juilliard School, and my husband got into University of Texas, and so we moved down here, and now we are probably going to be here for quite a while. Yes, actually, it was just sort of a last-minute decision. Back in 2010, I auditioned for a production called The Yeoman of the Guard, and it was literally a decision that I made approximately like a couple days before the auditions, and I just loved it, and I'm sort of addicted. I've been addicted ever since. So it's a great company. It's a great company, and they do really great work every summer. Princess Ida, you generally can't go wrong with a show that involves two tenors and a baritone getting dressed up in drag. Let me just say that. They are the show stealers. You basically, it consists of a princess that wants absolutely nothing to do with men, which is not the biggest surprise in the world because she doesn't exactly have the most wonderful father, and her brothers aren't exactly the sharpest knives in the drawer. She doesn't have a very high opinion of men. So she starts this women's college, and no men are allowed inside. There's a little problem though. She was basically engaged to a prince at the age of 1. It's one of those promised marriage kind of things, and she's, let's just say, conveniently forgotten about that engagement. Her women's university is the most important thing to her, so she could care less about any promises that were made when she was 1. I mean, she was 1 when this happened, so who cares? And the time comes when she and the prince turn 21. They're supposed to be getting married, and she decides to have nothing to do with it, and her father, the king, shows up to the prince's castle without her and just with the brothers, and announces that she will not be coming and has no interest in doing so. So well, all just craziness breaks out, and basically the prince decides with 2 courtiers that they are going to break into the princess's castle. They are going to dress as women. You have to love that. They're going to dress as women, and they're going to break into the women's university dressed as women. And this is an especially tempting proposition when they find out that there are 100 maidens within the walls of Castle Adamant, within the women's universities. It's a very interesting ending, one that is sure to make maybe some people cringe in the audience a little bit, because in our modern times, much like the end of Taming of the Shrew, there's a little monologue involved that you have to remind yourself these are different times. In the 1880s, actually, when this was written, the idea of women's universities in England was actually a very new idea, and many people weren't really used to that idea yet. So yeah, we're talking about completely different times here. So it's a very interesting commentary, and it's actually a wonderful challenge for any actor, I think, for any performer to try and pull that off without it being uncomfortable or abrasive, or but I love it. I love it. I love the challenge. So it's basically I believe someone referred to it as the folly of women's education, and this is this is probably one of the reasons why Princess Ida isn't done very often. But it's about so much more than that. It's about so much more than that, and it's I actually think it's probably one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in any show that I've done, because once you really start to peel back the layers, you find that there's so many different facets to it. There's just that's not what it's all about at all. It's it's a wonderful character piece. You really have a girl, a 21-year-old girl, that's just wrestling with these emotions of what she feels her duties in life are, and then of course the duty of royalty, which is often the duty of royalty in history. To get married and have to produce royal heirs, but it's a wonderful piece where I feel like I've been really challenged, not just dramatically but vocally. Find a lot of parallels between Princess Ida and actually Turandot, because Princess Ida and Turandot, they're both dramatic sopranos, nice hard metallic sound, because she's hardened, and then but you have to find that inner delicate balance where she sort of blossoms into somebody else. There's something. It's not just a heart of ice. She blossoms, and there's that part of her that is fragile. That is not just that hard metallic, that heart of ice. It's fantastic, and I mean, there's so many parallels. Actually, it's amazing. They both want to basically put their tenor to death. Kind of bloodthirsty a little bit. And yes, Princess Ida, really, I think all she's been dying for is a good fight with all of mankind. I mean, the second she realizes they're going to go into battle with King Hildebrand, she's just delighted, I think. She's been waiting for this. And so, yes, there are a couple of bloodthirsty sopranos, Turandot and Princess Ida. And I just love it. And yes, and what are we left feeling as an audience is, do we really want her to get the guy at the end? We don't really like her very much. She hasn't really given us much of a reason to like her. So it's a fantastic challenge to try to get the audience to like someone that is on the page, if you, at first glance, actually quite a pill. So I love it.